Shit, man. So, leaving Trump for the moment, in her post, there was an Obama staffer that wanted to send a parting message to progressives. I read this. It annoyed me, if I'm being honest. And I've been pretty annoyed over the past probably few weeks as I've watched my Twitter feed and my Facebook feed. And I hear these people crying and screaming about Obama leaving and everything else. And it's as if we've been in a time warp. Or that they have no idea what took place over the last 8 years. And if they did know what took place, they are being extraordinarily hypocritical in their evaluation of this president. I am sorry. I do not want to say it, but it's true. So I'd imagine that there's been a fair bit of criticism of the president from progressives. And this particular staffer was an apologist. He came out, he had things to say. So this is Jesse Lee, a contributor at HuffPost. An Obama staffer's parting note to progressives. For 8 years, I had the indescribable honor of serving in President Obama's White House, most recently as Special Assistant to the President and Director of Rapid Response. I say in all honesty that very little would have gotten done without you. It has become even more clear to me in these final days that your constructive criticism, pushing, occasional outrage, helped make this White House a better White House and this president a better president. As contentious as things can sometimes seem within our side, I think there's remarkable consensus on the kind of progressive change we need, captured in great detail through the hard work of the unified Democratic platform. I think a lot of goals we need coming into 2009 have seen immense, measurable accomplishment, more so than virtually any pundit would have thought possible at the time. On so many issues, progressives and President Obama have helped move the Overton window in the right direction. Alright, one last. From some supporters of the incoming administration and from some folks on the left who I truly respect that I want to take on, namely the Democratic Party or Obama, didn't fight for working people, that I can't abide. And he goes in and he lists a bunch of items that he's calling accomplishments. I fucking hate this thing. As contentious as things sometimes seem on our side, we're not on the same side, dude. And I don't like this false talk as if we're together. We're not together. I didn't even vote for a Democrat this year. Do you get that? The people who identify themselves as progressives don't consider themselves Democrats. It doesn't matter how many times you say unified Democratic Party. We are not a unified Democratic Party. You guys can hardly call yourself a Democratic Party. Do you even have any seats left? I mean, shit, man. You lost the House, the Senate, presidency, Supreme Court, 66 out of 99 state legislatures, 12 governorships. Can you be considered a party at this point after failing at that level? And no, it wasn't both of us moving over to one another forward. And it hasn't gone in the right direction. I don't know what you're talking about. So, alright, so let's talk about this. Affordable Care Act. Yes, there were several millions more people that got health care insurance. It's about to be repealed. And within X number of years after it was passed, a right-wing health care plan, even though we had a House and a Democratic House and Democratic Senate, some of the states was rising, had costs like 50%. Yes, it's an accomplishment. You were able to put that in the public consciousness of the America, healthcare. But you had your chance. Do you think that if Donald Trump was going to do this, he would have half-assed it? But okay, let's keep going. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Yes, that's true. The auto bailout. That's a mixed bag. Bush tax cuts for millionaires. Yeah, that's just a lie. So yes, Obama repealed some of Bush tax cuts, but he kept 82% of those tax cuts. The money, the sad part about it is that many of the tax cuts still went to the top 1%. So the money up until like $400,000, including raising the estate tax. And he didn't raise their taxes, he lowered their taxes from what they were before. Bush passed a gross tax cut plan. It was supposed to have, it had a sunset clause. It was going to come to an end. Obama enshrined 82% of those tax cuts into law. This guy is crowing about Obama putting those things into law. It's, and the worst part, I think the worst part about it, the tax cuts, no stimulus plans, raise taxes on the people at the bottom of the income scale. So in a tax plan that gave tax cuts to the wealthiest in the country. Now, mind you, it did come to the middle class too, but it also went to the wealthiest in the country. It hit the people at the bottom. It's amazing. Including adding to the estate tax. Democrats concerned about income disparity have also protested the way the estate tax is fashioned in Mr. Obama's plan. Currently, there is no estate tax, but in 2009, House Democrats passed a bill to set the tax at 45% on transactions of more than $3.5 million. Mr. Obama's plan was set the tax at 35% on estate transactions of more than $5 million for the next 2 years. Williams said the plan is so generous, it would only affect 1 in every 800 estates. So when the person is saying that Obama raised taxes on the wealthy, that sounds like a lie to me. I mean, and I gotta be honest, most of what's in this is half-ass and not the full context of what took place. He talks about bringing 90% of the troops home. We are in 7 different countries. We are bombing all over the place. We have troops in 66% of the countries in Africa right now. This president that he's crowing about for bringing troops home have killed thousands of people, including 2 American citizens, one of which was a child. Look, man. Alright, this is from the New York Times. The Somalia campaign is a blueprint for warfare that President Obama has embraced and will pass along to his successor. It is a model the United States now employs across the Middle East and North Africa, from Syria to Libya. Despite the president's stated aversion to America's boots on the ground in the world's war zones, this year alone, the United States has carried out airstrikes in 7 countries and conducted special operation missions in many more. Yeah, he got some of those troops home. Those troops were supposed to come home anyway. That was done under Bush. But yes, he did bring them home. Some of them. But there are still thousands of troops in those countries. And we have been paying death squads to go murder people in many of these countries. What about Libya? What about the coup in Honduras that we, at the very least, had some participation in? Look, man, I know people are absolutely concerned about what Trump is going to do. But these guys completely are oblivious to what their own president has been doing. I find them to be absolute hypocrites. And I get how people are getting really anxious about Trump. Yeah, I'm anxious about Trump too. I don't know what the hell he's going to do. But don't act like the guy who wasn't there before was this, messiah of some sorts. No, he was just as bad.